What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Let me just pull you guys up really quick here. Okay, see, it just popped up for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Sweet. So I know this is different from my regular Sunday lives, but I have a special guest with me, and I just want to take this opportunity to create a live, and we're going to go through, it's kind of like a little video of sharing and explaining a little bit about what my channel is about, what the order is about, and kind of trying to explain it in a way that someone that has no. As you can tell from the title, this is Dallen. He is new to a lot of this cult stuff. Like, he has lived in Utah, but a lot of the people here in Utah don't realize and they don't, I guess, know about a lot of the different polygamous groups around them. And so I want to take this as an opportunity to kind of like explain it and have him kind of react like how you guys do, like with being able to ask questions right in the moment and help me to kind of like describe it and explain it in a way that is understandable to all of you guys and not just me, because sometimes I feel like I explain things and it makes sense to me, but a lot of the times I'm missing important details and stuff like that.
It's just we're not on your level yet. That's all it is.
Well,
That's all it is.
I'm just special, kind of crazy, you know. But do you want to introduce yourself at all? Or
Yeah. So like Eskel said, I'm Dallen. I'm 24. I've lived in Utah most of my life. Spent my growing up years in southern Utah. And then I've moved up here to more northern Utah for work. Eskel and I were talking, and I didn't even know that there's a cult like super nearby. I had no idea.
Nice. And what part of southern Utah did you live in before?
St. George.
St. George. Okay,
yeah.
St. George is super popular in Utah.
Yep.
And then I was telling him how the order is based in West Valley, which is like right next to Salt Lake City, where we're all at right now. And so yeah, it's super close, and a lot of people.
That blew my mind.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Heck yeah. So okay, cool. What about like the first question I ask a lot of people on my video is, how many wives does your dad have? Just one? Okay.
Just one,
just
yeah.
want to make sure. Just double checking.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And so your mom's his first and only wife, probably, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. First and only.
Nice. Heck yeah. And so I guess what do you know about, like, let's start with like the FLDS. How would you start with? What are some of the things you know about that group?
All right. So FLDS, kind of their history. It's like looking back at like the LDS church. They had polygamy and then they stopped, but the FLDS decided to they're going to continue with it, and so that's when the two churches came from one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they decided to stick with the polygamy thing. Do they still dress more traditionally?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
More traditional.
Mm-hmm. I went to, because I actually have some cousins that are from there, and we went to go visit them one time, like way back when I was younger, and I remember watching them go swimming. And I was getting ready to take my shirt off and stuff, and they swim with everything on, and they even wear full long sleeve shirts and the girls wear dresses to the ankles, and the guys just wear the full length pants and stuff like that. And I remember seeing them swim with everything on. It blew my mind. It was first weird seeing my guy friend just go inside and start swimming with the shirt on, but then seeing the girl just full on dress, and she just jumps inside the pool and starts swimming.
Wait, but do they have swimming clothes, clothes for swimming?
I don't think so, because
they're
she just
in
jumped
their
in her
normal
dress. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they might have changed from maybe a nicer dress to I don't know if there's a swim dress or what, but yeah, I remember seeing that and being
that'd be
whoa.
So heavy.
Yeah, that would be so interesting. But yeah, I'll never forget that. And just driving through their town and stuff, I remember it being really interesting.
Wow, that's different. They wouldn't get sunburned.
That's true.
No sunburn, except on your face, I guess, and your hands.
Nice. Well, welcome, Flinker. What's up, Dylan? It's nice to see you again. I love how Dylan's always on my lives. Welcome, Russ, Jennifer, Nicole, Lark, Pumpkin, Jennifer, Caitlin, Caroline, Aaron, and Ashley. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I was debating if I should do this one on my Patreon or on YouTube, but this is his first time ever being on a YouTube video,
true.
so I was like, this will be cool. Let's just do it. This will be fun.
A little nervous.
Don't be. It's just, I like to do mine just very chill, relaxed, just more of a conversation. I want you to be able to ask questions, because a lot of the people, you guys still ask questions through the comments. We'll take time to look at the comments and address them and stuff like that. But this is really just to kind of hopefully brainstorm more about interesting things about the cult, how to explain it in more detail and stuff.
I do have a question. Something you said you had cousins that are in FLDS. Mm-hmm. And then you mentioned earlier when we were talking that you have some family also in the order that's here in West Valley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those are two separate, and you got family in both.
Yeah. So the family that's in the FLDS is a lot more distant. A lot of my direct relatives are definitely from the order,
Okay.
but the way I tried to like describe the FLDS versus the order is like, because the FLDS is a branch off of the LDS church, and then the order is a branch off of the FLDS church, and so it's just kind of like,
wow.
I don't know, if the FLDS had a brother, I guess.
So are the rules more strict in FLDS or in the order?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it definitely, I mean, I'm no expert on this, but from my experience and what I've seen, it's a lot more strict in the FLDS.
Really?
In a lot of aspects. There are some things that would probably be more strict in the order, but I remember, because I was an order member, right, in the order cult, and I remember seeing the FLDS and being like, they're the cult. Like, we are normal compared to them, you know? And then now that I've been out of the order, it's like, okay, yeah, I wasn't normal. So it's just like a whole different levels of everything, I guess. It's kind of interesting. But how many moms would you guess that I have? I don't think I've ever even told you.
No, yeah, I've never.
Guess?
I don't even know where I don't even know
It's
what's
not
normal.
super
Yeah,
crazy,
like
but what would you guess is normal?
I don't know. Like, cause I would guess less than 10 for sure.
Okay.
Cause that just seems insane. I'd want to say like maybe like 3 or 4. That'd be my guess, like 3 or 4.
Okay, really good. Yeah, so I have 3 moms. So
okay.
Yeah,
well, right.
Good guess. Dang. Yeah, I think
Was
3
it more
is
love?
The most common.
Like
what?
3 times the amount of
3
love.
I wouldn't quite describe it that way.
Okay.
But that's a cool way to try to look at it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because I just have no idea. Like you said, I'm completely oblivious to what it's like. So
yeah, heck yeah.
I hope I don't offend anybody.
No, it's fine. I mean,
completely.
Yeah, this is all new to you, so it's like you should feel free to just speak your mind. Even for me, I try to just say whatever and just hope no one takes offense to it. But I mean, it is what it is. So, but what about for the order? Have you ever heard? So the order, it's funny. It goes by 4 different names. The order is what all of its members call it, but like what is it? I guess like their website name is the Co-op, Davis County Co-op, Cooperative Society, and then they have the one of the titles is like the LDCC or something, the Latter Day Church of Christ or something like that. And then Order, Co-op, LDCC, and what was the 4th one? Dang. See, I should have kept my notes. But anyways, it goes by lots of names. But you've never heard of those, right? Is this the first time ever hearing about those?
Yeah,
I
think so. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I might have heard them, but never in context of what they really were.
Nice. And Nicole says, don't be nervous. We are really nice people. And a lot of the people that watch my lives, they are super nice. I get really good comments and really great, like, thought-provoking questions, and they're super fun, really supportive.
Awesome.
There's really no hate unless order members get on here. Which, yeah, that happens. We can't really stop them. But, let's see.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear their thoughts as well.
Oh, yeah.
Can you guys, in the order, could you guys use technology?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. Like, for the most part, we dress pretty normally, I guess you would say.
Can you watch movies?
Yeah, we can watch movies. We use
was there a limit on like how modern you could be? Like, did it because in like the FLDS, the dress is not modern, right? That's true.
They're a little bit more like old-fashioned, I guess, and stuff. For us, no, like, we could really wear whatever we want, and I always tell people, like, I watched rated R movies since I was like 12, and so there wasn't really like much restrictions on a lot of stuff like that.
What about like the internet? Like, did you have access to the internet?
Yeah, most order members are watching this right now. Like, we all have YouTube, stuff like that.
Really?
I don't think we were really restricted on that. Like, so to get to the internet, though, I guess we were definitely restricted on like when we get a cell phone. I remember it was like really strict, but that's different though, because it's not like the order itself is like, oh, cell phones are bad, you can't have cell phones. But it was more like each family individually was like, oh, we needed to like restrict our kids, or even sometimes specific certain kids from having as much access to the outside world, especially if you're like already asking questions or like rebelling at all in the order.
What would be considered rebelling?
Like anything, like going to outside events. If you associate with outsiders at all, if you're not within the order community, in the order school, in the order workplace,
Really?
like doing all the order stuff.
So like if you played sports with somebody outside the order,
yeah, I mean,
you'd be considered rebelling.
Yeah, especially if you started like creating friendships with them.
What?
And stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think like for the most part, you could probably like do be on a rec team and play sports. But well, no, they wouldn't really want you to do that too because they have their own sports. So they'd be like,
really?
why not just play with the order kids, you know? And so yeah, they try to keep it all within the community and stuff.
Like, why do they want to just keep us so? Like,
I think it's very hard to leave, or at least so that you don't have much outside influence, you know? Because if you are raising a kid and trying to convince them or like tell them that this is what is right and this is the way you're supposed to believe, this is how, like, if you want them to believe the way that you are and like think the same way as you, then you try to just only have them around people that will encourage and support that same thing. Okay, and I think polygamy is so outdated now and like something that's like, to normal people, that's like, it's just crazy, you know, like they would never even consider it. And so I think now it's more important than ever for them to keep that close-knit community. Otherwise, they talk to other people and be like, oh, wow, this is really weird. Like, what's going on and stuff like that, you know? So.
Do they ever try to bring outside people in?
Yeah, especially girls. I think it's like encouraged and like the guys oftentimes will date outside girls and then like, you know, try to bring them in. And it happens sometimes. For example, with my own family, then that's exactly what my dad did. My dad dated outside, or not dated, because they're not really, the weird thing is they're not allowed to date. So literally they like meet the person and I think they go on one date with them and then they propose and get married.
Well,
and so, yeah.
And it happens?
Yeah, surprisingly. I don't know how. I mean, it does though. I've definitely seen it happen. And yeah. So
I'm assuming they're like talking to each other before that date and after that date before they.
I'm sure.
Or is it just like boom and that girl's like, yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean for the example that I know of, then yeah, they knew their family, and so we're like kind of would see them at certain events or like family gatherings and stuff like that. So they had like seen each other and like knew each other in passing for the most part. And then, yeah, just went on one date and just got married. But I have heard of where they don't even know the girl. They see them once or twice, like just, I don't know, at a restaurant or whatever. And then they ask them out, I guess. Or like, I don't even think they ask them like on a date. They just ask them to like meet up or whatever. And then they propose. So it's technically like girls? 2 meetups and I can't say, but like.
No, sorry. Like, that's just like a general question.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess
that's crazy. Like, I have a hard time just finding girls to go out with.
And this is rare, though. The majority, like 90% of all marriages in the order are within the order. You know, like order members marrying order members. And that's why I think they marry so closely. You know, it's very common for order members to marry, like, you know, cousins or like just really close related people. Whoa. Yeah, I guess I didn't brief you on this one, but yeah, they believe that marrying your cousins is like totally fine.
Like how close though?
Like as close as it needs to be. They don't marry direct siblings, but they've even married some half siblings too.
No.
So, yeah. So it does. Yeah. I forgot. Like, yeah, I didn't even mention any of that.
Kid, I realized that's not a culture or group I'm a part of, so I don't know like the full mindset. But as an outsider that was oblivious, that's
yeah, I forgot
very different.
That. It's so funny because to me, just growing up, I was like, it's fine, like as long as they're not your sibling. But it's like I realized that
like, genetically, isn't that like a?
So it's first of all, it is illegal, and then second of all, the reason why it's illegal is because there are birth deformities that happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And does that happen? Like, do you see that?
Yeah,
from those marriages.
That definitely happens. But the thing is, it happens sometimes, and I think in the order it happens less because they're actually pretty selective about how it happens. For example, they will take people's blood and see if they're like more compatible with one another to like, I guess, lessen the chance of any birth deformities if they get married or something like that.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I don't think, I mean, that.
But if it's illegal, how are they allowed to do it?
Well, because it's just all done in secret. Most marriages are not documented at all.
Really?
Like they have a spiritual wedding, and then they're married. But then according to the state, they're just, I don't know, hooking up or something, I guess.
What on earth?
Yeah. So it's definitely different.
That is very different.
And then I don't think I even mentioned this to you, but like.
And I realize this is just new.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mean to like
Which
hate on anybody.
No, this is a big part of why I invited you on it, because I breeze past this stuff. I just say it and just go on. But it's new to you, so like I feel like you'll help me to explain it more, or like to realize what's normal and what's not. Because to me, I grew up with it, so I don't know what's normal.
So like I'm just thinking back. So when you were in it, you had half siblings, half sisters,
and it was weird because you're
like,
I couldn't be as friendly with them.
Marry that girl.
Yeah. It was kind of weird. And it ruins the whole dynamic, too, because they were my half-sister, you know? And it's like, generally, you would just want to be good friends with them. Yeah. I feel like you would give them hugs all the time, you know, and stuff like that. But no, I don't think I've ever, I probably did hug my half-sister, probably once or twice. I don't know. But, like, it was super rare, and it was kind of like just felt weird, you know? Yeah. It was just like, just the fact that you kind of could potentially marry them changes everything, you know. It just makes you think of things.
You see everyone, including like somebody that close, as like a person, like a potential partner. Like that's
and it's this never happened to me, but I've heard of some of my friends. They would be in their family meeting, and a lot of my friends have way bigger families than me, and they would get all of these
bigger, because you said you had 18 siblings.
Well, 32 if you count all my half siblings. Yeah.
And and you said you had friends that had way bigger.
Way bigger. So I think the biggest family in the order has 300 kids inside, all from one guy. One guy. Yeah. So. Oh man. Yeah.
Wait, hold on a minute. Like, just think about that.
I know. Oh, it's
like
crazy.
It's
crazy. Yeah. And that's just one of the families. But and that one, so he has like, sometimes I get this wrong, but it's close to 25 wives or something like that. 27, I think they said, something like that. So he's got that many wives.
But still, that's like 10 kids each.
Yeah, most girls in the order have like families like 10 or bigger. I feel like it's super popular. I shouldn't say most, because a lot of families are young right now, like just starting out having kids and stuff. But it's super common for families to have 10 kids. And that's like
so if he has 25 wives, he has like 12 kids each, right? Would that be the math?
Something like that.
Wait, but how does one dude provide for 25? Like, let's pretend they have no kids. He has 25 wives. How does he provide for 25 wives?
Homes, first of all, and most of them have pretty nice homes, you know. Because like in the order, it's not the FLDS where they have 5 wives in one house. They all have their own homes.
How do you provide for that many people?
Oh yeah, it's tough. Now this person in particular, he's like kind of he is the leader. So like he gets special privileges. You know, he has a lot more access to money and things like that. And so, that's how he gets help. He gets help from basically the whole group, pretty much, and stuff like that.
Is it communal? So, like, does everybody kind of pay into, and then they redistribute?
Oh yeah, like the law of consecration. They fully believe that they're living that 100%.
Oh, so everyone
all their
pays
money's
in
one bucket,
and then
basically.
somebody chooses how to distribute it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like literally, I would have a job and be working, and when I wanted to just get groceries and stuff, I literally would have to go to their office that they have, ask them for money, and they would even say like, what's it for? And I'd have to put a purpose for it and everything, and then they would approve it. Sometimes they wouldn't approve it. They would be like, no, like that's denied or whatever. And I couldn't even get my own money out. So it's just like, it's just an interesting system, I guess. But.
That is so different. That's different. So somebody else determined what was best for you.
Yeah.
And how to spend your money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. I always thought like they must have felt like they had a lot of power. The people that
is a lot of power. That is a lot of power. Like straight up, that's a ton of power.
Yep, exactly. It's kind of funny. But.
So you're saying each wife has a different house.
Yep.
So
I know if sometimes they'll have like a couple in one home, or like they'll have like duplexes type of things where it's not really.
They all
duplex,
live around each other.
Oh yeah, everyone. Well, everyone's like in the West Valley, Salt Lake area, but there are exceptions. Some people live in like West Jordan. There's some people that live up in Idaho, but they're all generally close, for the most part. And the majority, like 90% of everyone is in the Salt Lake area.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have like a big meeting house?
Yeah, in West Valley. West Valley is where the church is. But like I always say church, and I have to laugh because it is nothing like what you would picture at church. Really? I interviewed my cousin that's not in the order. She visited it once, and she's LDS, and she's used to like temples and really nice big buildings. She went to it, and it was like literally it's a warehouse. There's all these people meeting in a warehouse. In fact, I should have showed you the video. My sister on her channel, she's got a video of the meeting house, of one of the meetings going on, and like you can even hear the prophet giving a talk and stuff like that. Wow. Maybe I'll show you that after this. That one's really interesting. Dang. I should have prepped you a little bit more, but but this is good. I'm getting you like real true reaction. So let's see if anyone's saying anything about it. They talk at dances, but if you're talking to them by yourselves, then it's breaking order standards. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Pumpkin Patch. Pumpkin Patch might be an order member or something, but...
Wait, so explain that. So if you're at a dance and you talk to somebody without permission, you're breaking rules.
Especially if you go and pair off, because it's against order standards to pair off with someone of the opposite sex and like kind of go and do your own thing.
But like, how do you learn to have that interaction?
I don't know. Yeah, you never really
you can't really talk to your sister because maybe...
Well, I mean, if they're your full sister,
yeah,
you're talking to them, it's fine. But like...
And families are big enough, odds are you have a sister, so...
Well, and I remember the dances being like pretty unsupervised, because there were lots of times, because like you're in this giant warehouse, right? And there's like tons of kids. There's very few adults. There are some like throughout the crowd or whatever, but all these kids just dancing with each other. And like I remember if you like walked over into one of the other rooms, like into the hallways and stuff, it was super easy to just be alone with someone and just talk with them or whatever.
So,
or, like,
so what would happen if you like made out with a girl?
Oh man. If people saw that, you get so much trouble.
Really? Like, what would happen?
Like,
what would happen
first of all, you would basically be banned from ever seeing that girl again. Her family would basically disown you. Like, you wouldn't be able to, like...
So,
you wouldn't be able to dance with her,
odds of that working out again, never.
No, unless you run away. There's been people that, like really like each other and will, like, sneak out and do stuff, and then they find out, and they get in huge trouble, and they try to keep them away from each other, and they both leave the order, like, run away together, and they end up getting married and everything, So that happens, but, like, within the order...
different kind of love story.
Yeah, exactly. They have their own little love story. It's kind of cool. But within the order, no, like, that's horrible. Sometimes, though, I can't say, like, I know that this happens, but I've heard of this many times, where two people will like each other, and they'll like meet up in secret and do stuff, and they'll like make out and different things like that. They'll get caught, and if like, I don't know, if they are like have a higher status in the church, or if there's some reason that they want them to, they'll just get them married right away. So it makes all that stuff okay, basically. So they have different ways of reacting to.
What would happen, because like hormones are strong? What would happen if, like, a girl got pregnant to someone she's not married to?
That's bad.
Like, she's not married.
So I only know of that happening twice in the order in my time of ever being there. And both those times, they just got married really fast.
Oh, really?
So, okay. Yeah. And one time, like this one, I can't say it's fact either. I've only heard this. But one time, there's a girl that got pregnant, and then they hated the guy. They would not let her marry the guy, so they quickly got her married to someone else and tried to pretend it like it was his kid. When it was, and everyone pretty much knew that it wasn't, but they all just kind of pretended or like didn't say anything and stuff. Wow. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it was that one was a funny scenario.
That's interesting.
But yeah, it's like way bad. Like I don't know of anyone in the order that just has a baby and is not married. Like if you have a kid, you get married or you leave the order. That's basically your own choices.
Okay.
Yeah, unless of course your husband dies. That's a different story, But usually when
they remarry you?
Exactly. Yeah. Usually, unless you're like way old, maybe or something. I don't know. But most of the time, you'll get remarried to someone else. In fact, there was someone that died in the order that had like 4 wives, and all 4 of those wives went to another guy, and like they all made the same next guy.
No way.
Yeah.
Does the guy get to choose that, or is it kind of like assigned? And you're like, hey, you just got 4 more wives, plus the kids.
Yeah, that would be a lot of responsibility. And I don't know if they decided, if they, I mean, the order would say God decides it. Like, God decides where they go. But, like, I don't know how it's actually decided and all that. But
it's like outside looking in. Like, one, that's got to be, like, I don't know, just like for a woman, I'm not a woman, so I don't know how you feel about that, but that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
like, because that feel like you're just getting
like you're a product.
Yeah, and you're getting just reassigned.
There's so many things in the order that make women look like they're just an item. It's kind of sad.
But also like the lack of choice is strange.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
oh man, you don't even know the full of that. But sorry, go ahead.
But I guess if it's like communal living where like everyone pays in, I guess there's not as much of a concern to be able to provide if everyone's providing for everyone.
Well, and that's another thing about.
Does that ever like break down?
Oh yeah, because the only way you could live consecration like correctly, I feel like, is if everyone had the same type of house, everyone had the same type of cars. But no, the order's just like kind of like the idea of America, like there's people with way nice cars or way nice houses, and the people that live in tiny homes and have crappy cars, So it's like the distribution of wealth is just as crazy unequal. As like, yeah.
Even though is it supposed to be equal? Or are they straight up like,
it's the law of consecration, It's supposed to be everyone puts their money in a pot, and then you only take it when you need it. You only
distribute
it when
equally,
it's reasonable, yeah.
But some people have it more equal than others.
Exactly.
Wow. That's
definitely. And you were talking about the whole
ideal.
Making choices thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's even more of why they try to keep everyone within order organization in the circle, because from a very young age, you don't have much of say in anything. When you get your first job, they usually just have they put you in wherever like one of the order companies need you, so you don't have much of a say in where your first job is.
Order
you start
companies.
Working. Yeah.
What are their companies?
Oh, there's a lot. There's like a grocery store called John's Marketplace. It's right on Redwood Road. It's super close to here. Yeah.
Can an outsider go in and buy groceries from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would I be able to tell if I walked in there?
Oh, I think you would, because all the workers are order people. Okay. So I feel like they have a little bit of a different like personality and different vibe about them. But if you weren't told, then you would just think, oh, this is a weird store. Like, I don't think you would know.
This is an awkward grocery store.
Yeah, I feel like, but knowing now, like if you went to John's Marketplace, you would probably be able to tell like something's odd about it. And like at least I've been told they don't sell alcohol there and stuff, So
they're opposed to alcohol.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Smoking?
Yeah, they're against smoking, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
Do they use medicine? Are they allowed to use modern medicine?
Yeah, because they have a doctor. There's a doctor that's in the group.
How do they feel about like blood transfusions? I know some.
Oh yeah, they're fine with that. Okay. They're not worried about that kind of stuff. I was gonna say,
do they do home births or can they go to hospitals?
Like almost all of them. There are some order members that go to hospitals, but the majority have them at home, and they don't even have a like what's the lady that comes to the house and like helps whatever? Midwife. They have their version of midwife, but it's like not a certified person. It's usually like just their cousin or someone, that comes over.
What about like infant deaths? Do babies die?
Yeah, that definitely happens. I think they've had them so many times at home that I personally think the infant deaths are low, because they've had so many babies at home that I think they're decently good at it, I would think they're not certified by any means, but they've had a lot of practice. Sure. Like literally,
like a lot of
each family's having 10 babies, so like they're
getting all the other people there know kind of what to do.
And literally, like when some families are new to it, maybe they're having their first baby, they'll have like this really old guy from the group come to their house and help deliver the baby and stuff like that. Someone that's delivered them. That's not certified by any means, but that has done it a lot. So they send them around to help with the births and stuff like that. But sorry, I keep trying to get back to this because the dances are the order's version of speed dating, basically. And it's super funny because like that, you don't really go on dates. You get to dance with them for like 2 to 3 minutes, however long the song is, and then you go forward on them, which is you proposing to them in the order way, because you technically ask.
How old are you at this point?
Most people are 16 to 18 years old. That's the common age to get married in the order. So it's pretty young.
Wait, so like a dude is 16.
Usually the guy's 18 and the girl's like 16 or something.
Okay.
Yeah. most of the time. But like,
wait, but so
the
how does
age
that work?
gaps
So
are
he marries
crazy.
this girl.
Mhm.
Next speed dating dance comes around. He
just goes back to dance. Yeah, there's some old people that are still at those dances, dancing with little
Old being
girls.
how old?
Like up to 40. I don't know. Like
Dancing with a
What's the oldest?
16-year-old girl.
Yeah.
He's probably got kids in there.
Oh yeah. He's got kids younger than that, or older than that 16-year-old kid. Like, he's got all these tons of families and stuff.
That's
It's kind of
so
wild.
different.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of music is it though?
I think they let a lot of the kids, I think, get a vote or like petition certain songs, and then the leaders kind of approve if it's like allowed or whatnot. And like they have decently modern music, but it's mixed in with a lot of old music too.
So what years were you there?
From like 2000 and, well, I guess if you count when I was born in the 1990s. Up
like
to,
for like the dances, how old were you in the dances? I'm gonna see
ever
like
since
what
I
music
was like,
they would have played.
What, 13, 14 to like 18. So
like
that was 2012 up until 2000.
Party Rock Anthem.
17.
Would they play Party Rock Anthem?
No, I don't think they've ever played that. But they may have. I don't have a perfect memory, but like
Taylor
I remember.
Swift songs?
Yeah, I believe they played some Taylor Swift songs because she's got some like really mellow music and stuff like that. And they would let us try to petition for like more modern music and stuff like that. And like we would put our requests in, but like they would never. I remember we'd always put in requests for Hollywood Undead. Never, they would never approve that one. Or like Green Day. I think finally they approved one Green Day song one time when I was there or something like that. So yeah, they're not super strict with music. And I talked about in one of my videos how music was an outlet for me. And like I would listen to like sometimes screamo music, like Radiohead or like crazy things. And like I don't know like what the order's position on that is, but like I just did it and like didn't really say much. And like I don't know if they I don't know if they ever found out or what, but I don't know if they cared about that. But yeah, the order dances were very interesting. And when you go forward on a girl, you don't just go to the girl and get on one knee and propose. Mm-hmm. You literally go to your parents first and you say, I had a dream or direction that I'm supposed to marry this girl. And they can shut it down right then and there.
And you just say, I had a dream. Like, even if you, like, do people say they have dreams? Like, is that a big thing?
Basically, that's direction. And to me, I think it's just like, if you have a crush on this girl, you're always thinking about them. Oh, okay. Just the craziest. It's just any dream. You know how your dream just is whatever. And when you're like a girl, you'll think about her all the time. And I think it's super common for you to dream about them. But if you just barely
dance with this girl, how do you have a dream about her?
Well, if you like them, they'll just be on your mind a lot, I feel like.
Well, no, so I guess what I'm saying is like, because you say you dance with them and then it's done, right?
Uh-huh. But you can dance with them, like, they have a dance every, like, month
or so you could dance with her, okay. I thought it was
it's
like
not like one time and that's it.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
No, you'll dance with them multiple times. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's why I consider, like, speed dating, because, like, you can essentially dance with them multiple times, like, go on multiple dates with them, but it's only, like, a 2-3 minute little conversation with them, you know? So it's like, literally, you'll be, like, asking them all these questions in the 2 minutes that you have and, like, just trying to get to know them as much as you can and whatnot, but that's about it. And then just go from there.
So I guess what, like, as a young, like, order member guy, what was, like, your goal? Because, like, as a young person that wasn't in the order, like, you kind of have goals and dreams, like, oh, like, maybe I'd love to go to college and, like, maybe play a sport in college, get this degree, and then get this job. Like, could you guys go to college, or is that not?
No, yeah. Well, yeah, college is definitely available. It's a lot easier for the guys to go to college than for the girls, because the girls are a little bit more meant to stay at home and just have babies. At what point do they start having kids? As soon as they're married. Like, it is super rare for someone to be married for a year and not have a kid on the way. Like, that, like, is almost non-existent. Like, I believe it happens sometimes, but, like, most of the time they have a kids way fast. Like, honeymoon babies most of the time, too. So, but it's kind of funny. And they're young,
so, like, 16-year-old girl marries dude between the age of 18 to 40. Mm-hmm. And within the first year, she's pregnant. So before she's 17, she's pregnant.
A lot of the times, yeah. There's a ton of people that have had their first kid when they're 17. And that's, like, common. And that's not even the craziest part. So they have their first kid really young, but then it's very popular to have a kid every single year for, like, your first 5 kids. And so a lot of people will be married for 5 years and have 5 kids. And so, married for 6 years. And have 5
That
kids
sounds exhausting.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's kind of work. But that's like in the order standard though. That's like a compliment, man. That's like, wow, you have
Really?
5 kids in 5 years. Like, you're doing good job.
Like anybody, that's impressive.
Oh yeah,
that is hardcore.
Mhm.
Holy moly!
Heck yeah, we got 48 people on the live right now.
So how,
what's up, guys? Let me see if they have.
how do you raise that many kids? Like, that's so you have 5 kids in 5 years, 5 under 5.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it takes a village to raise your family, right? And they have the whole village and community of people, but they're all having kids. So it's like, who's helping who? You know, like it's gotta be so hard.
How many? Like, but that means, oh my.
Okay, I do want to address this because someone commented that Amanda mentioned about the medical care and stuff, how some people die by refusing and stuff. They have doctors there, and so they do to some extent like accept medicine and stuff like that. But they are very like picky about what they allow and what they want, and they definitely talk bad about medicine. Like they don't necessarily encourage it. They basically say if it's a life or death situation, like do it, like it's worth surviving. But they aren't super supportive about it. You know, they have their own like weird interpretation of it and like try to stay away from it. And literally the doctor there will prescribe comfrey. And comfrey is this weird plant that just the order believes in. That's not a real medicine or medical like thing. They just decide to use it. And they'll even have like eggshells and stuff, you know, for their calcium.
Whoa.
And they'll do that. But what?
This homie Philip Kingston is a member. What up, dude?
Philip Kingston, where?
He said, I love the order. It's amazing.
Phil Kingston, are you an order member? Yeah. Welcome, Philip. This is all backwards. Are you a numbered man? No.
What's a numbered man?
Like basically an apostle or like one of the leaders that have like, what's the word for it? It's kind of like if you were such a good man in the organization that they agree that you're going to make it to heaven, kind of, they'll assign you a number and you'll be a numbered man and like, I don't know.
Well, like the Jehovah's Witness.
The amount of people that go to heaven. Yeah, kind of like that. You know, how they have a specific
number. They have a set number. The order has a set number of people that will go to heaven.
Kind of. They believe in that, the scripture that talks about that. They believe in that, but I don't know if
I'm not going to lie, I don't know what that scripture is.
Yeah,
I just have heard about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
Many Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so they kind of think of that idea. I don't think they think it's limited to that amount of people, but they do believe like only specific, very like special people will make it to the highest degree. And they also believe only order members can make it to the celestial kingdom. That's it. And not even all order members. Only like I think it's only basically the numbered men families.
Do they do baptism?
Yeah, they baptize. They have the priesthood and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Very similar.
Can women have the priesthood?
No, only the guys. But let's see what else Philip had to say. Let's see. Do you like being an order member, or are you trying to leave? I suspect a lot of people don't realize fundamentalist Mormonism is a cult. I love the order. It's amazing. Everything they say is wrong. What? What did I say wrong, Philip? What do you mean?
Explain.
Google it, Philip. Like that. Everyone's saying, Google it, Philip. Come on. You know this. I am late, but hi, Eskel. Heck yeah. Welcome. Philip, so you like giving all your money to the order and having to pay rent at a young age? Don't ask them that, Nicole. All order members love giving their money to the order. Really? It's like they see it as a privilege. Like, they're like, oh my goodness, the prophet wants my money and my help. Like, to them, they want to give all of it to the order. But if you ask them if they want their daughters to be married to someone that's already got like 5 wives, then most of them would say no. If they want their kids to go through having to fend for themselves and figure out how to basically take care of their huge families when their husbands are never home, they don't like that. They all love the idea of the order and love the idea of, having huge families and everyone taking care of each other and everyone getting equal help and equal money to have like happy families and take care of everyone. But that's not the way it happens in the order. There's people that are picked as favorites. There's people that get more money and more opportunities in the order. So it's not divided equally. Even though they love giving their money into the pot, but they don't like the fact that they can't get it back. They don't like the fact that they don't have any say in what happens to it. It's like you got to ask them the right questions.
So here's a question I have. So like, what is the end result for the order? I guess like, are they, because like different Christians have different beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they ultimately like trying to fill up the world with their religion.
Oh yeah,
and
just
then
like
Christ
a
comes
snowball.
again.
Yeah, they always say the reference of a rock going down a mountain and getting bigger
Daniel's
and bigger.
vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when I was little, they would tell that vision. I'd picture a snowball rolling down a hill, and it just gets bigger and bigger until it takes over the whole world.
So they are trying to bring other people in.
Yeah, they believe it'll take over the whole world.
So what are their thoughts on like getting into China and like the people in Asia, like people in Africa, like bringing them into the religion? Because it's
as
far as I know, FLDS and the order, it's Utah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or surrounding areas, a little out. Mm-hmm. So
their goals are definitely.
Do they send missionaries?
No, they don't have missionaries because they believe God will only invite the people that He wants them to. And so
everybody else.
And everyone else is gonna burn in hell. Just
really?
kidding. No. Oh. They believe that regular people can go to the terrestrial kingdom, or as long as they're good people, they'll go to the other degrees of heaven, but only order members can go to the celestial kingdom, because they did all of everything basically that they believe in.
Will Christ come again once they've filled the whole world with their people?
Oh yeah,
once it's only order members, that's when He'll come again. Well,
I don't know if they say specifically once it's only order members, because they still believe in somewhat of like there's always going to be wickedness. There's always going to be people persecuting the church. So they do say it's going to eventually grow throughout the whole world, but I think they just mean it'll be on every continent, in every country, all over. But of course, not every person will be an order member, but the church itself will be everywhere, and there'll be tons of members and stuff.
Are they growing pretty fast?
No. In fact, let me share this with you. How many members do you think there are when this is kind of just a very brief, the order, let's see. So the order has a net worth of $700 million, and they have corporations and businesses all throughout Utah. They have a few in Idaho, some in California, some in New Hampshire, I think it is. And what else? I don't know. Just off of that and what I've shared with you, kind of what you know right now, how many members would you guess that there are in this group?
That is...
I know it's not a ton of information, but they are based in Utah. They only have a church in Utah, a church in Idaho, and a church in New Hampshire.
How do they have a limit on how big their congregation can be?
No. It's a warehouse. They'll cram as many people in it. And they do this thing where they have one meeting, and then they'll have a second session or whatever,
Okay.
For different crowds and whatnot.
I'm gonna put it in but they've been around for a while.
It started in 1930. No, 1940. Frick. I'm supposed to know this stuff. It's basically 19. Man, how come I can't think of this? Man, I will take better notes next time. I'm
gonna say they have 150,000 members.
Ooh, wow, that's high.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know, because it sounds old.
It's funny because
they have so many kids, and they're it seems like they grow extremely fast.
Yeah, you think that, but no, not super fast. And you got to keep in mind, every time there's been a new leader in this cult, it's broken off. Just like how this is a break off of the FLDS.
Really?
Every time there's a new leader, there's large portions of it.
So the current guy that's got 300 kids, he's the leader. Yeah. When there's a new leader, people are gonna.
Oh yeah, it happens every single time.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's the big argument of who's supposed to be the next leader.
How do they determine it?
There's just the leader just decides. The leader just picks.
Oh, he's it's this guy.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people will be like, "What? No, it's not supposed to be that person or whatever," and they'll argue and fight and whatnot. And so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it'll break off, but.
But
I'll just tell you, it's about 10,000. So yeah.
Wait. So does that mean that there's new polygamy groups popping up all the time.
I think so, yeah.
So polygamy
For the
is
most
growing.
part.
Is polygamy growing in general, like as a group in the U.S., very quickly?
Because not quickly. It's very slow, I feel like. It's like a slow, I want to say polygamy is dying off, you know? It's a thing of the past. Like, everyone is, like, moving on from that, and nobody's really believing that. Like, if you send out missionaries, you know, no one's gonna listen. Like, it's slowly dying off. The only way polygamy groups grow is by, you know, them having their own kids and growing off of having, like, tons of kids and the next generation and the next generation. So they are growing, but it's like very microscopically, even though they always say, oh man, we had, you know, like 500 babies this year and like everyone's popping out babies, like we're growing so fast. It's like in the grand scheme of things, that is way slow.
Yeah, so like how many?
The average amount of people that join the order that are outsiders and join is like probably 100 people a year. Like that's it. Like it's
how many people
slow.
leave the order every year?
Probably like 200.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
So that's why they lose. So most, it's like taken on a whole view. Lots of people are leaving.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know the exact number, but I would say it's pretty close to, like, 100 a year or something. Like maybe that's a bit high because it's a small group and it's very close knit, so it's not very often people leave. But yeah, there's a decent amount that leave every year, and there's some that join though, especially through marriages. You know, the guys will date girls and bring them into the group and stuff like that.
Dating being a loose term.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they can't really date.
Yep. And there is sometimes whole families that'll join. Like there's been a family that has joined and just became a part of it. And
wait, hold on. Let's think about that though. So like a dude and his wife and his kids join.
Yeah.
And then this guy gets another wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would
things like that?
So I just want to know like what the women in this group think.
Exactly, right? I mean, that's why I'm going to be doing a couple interviews with people like the insiders and stuff like that and ask them these questions. But it's tough because, you know, a lot of them, they believe in it. They're just like, yeah, polygamy is great. I don't mind if my husband shares with other people, as long as they usually will say, as long as he still takes care of me, takes care of our kids, and like his love is distributed equally like it should be. That's where I like kind of like question the order members. Like, I understand, okay, you want to believe in polygamy, but the polygamy you're teaching is not the polygamy that's being lived from what I can see. And they always say, well, yeah, a lot of people live polygamy wrong. And yeah, a ton of the order members live it wrong. But there's not very many that live it right. And even to them, they don't believe a lot live it right. But they're like, oh, but the ones that do are so holy and so good and so great. It's like, I don't believe that. But okay. Right. It's just kind of funny. But
okay, I saw a comment that kind of got me curious.
What was that?
Somebody.
Whoa! Someone said Philip's dad went to jail. How do you know who Philip's dad is?
And they said Philip's dad is Jacob Kingston, who stole $500 million from the government.
Jacob Kingston? Oh,
I don't know.
He's the one. Well, it depends on what Jacob they're talking about, but there's a. Yeah, I don't know which Jacob he's talking about because I feel like both the Jacobs had a lot of money problems. But
dad pled guilty to stealing money.
Let's see. Oh man, it sounds like it's getting pretty heated. So Philip says a girl gets married whenever she wants to. Philip, that's a pretty blatant lie. Oh man, if girls got to choose when they would get married, they wouldn't be getting married so young though. And here's the thing, maybe the order does get them to say, sure, I'll get married, but that's after like coercing them and convincing them and telling them, you need to get married, like this is the right thing to do, like it's the best, you know. I feel like though, if the girl just wasn't like pushed or pressured to get married, they would wait much longer. They wouldn't want to get married so young, and I don't know, it would just be different. But you know, that's a question that's really just a matter of like, we can't prove necessarily, other than the fact that there's a lot of girls that leave and are like, I don't know why the frick they had me marry someone at 16. I didn't know what I was doing.
So a lot of girls leave after they're married. Do they leave kids behind?
No. The girls cling to their kids like that's the last resort because they use their kids all the time as a guilt term. Like, oh man, if you leave, you're gonna bring your kids to hell. And like, you know, the moms are so close with their kids. Like, that's the only thing that matters to them. And so, yeah, when they leave, they almost always take their kids with them. Otherwise, there's a huge fight for them and stuff like that. It is crazy.
Man, this is complex because like on the one side, there's like their beliefs, like their
Mhm.
individual beliefs,
Oh, yeah.
which like individuals' beliefs are hard to like fight against because you can't always like it's a belief, so you can't always like even if you
Exactly.
prove it,
How are you
they
supposed
have
to-
their belief.
Mhm.
They kind of can like they refuse to accept whatever you prove.
And the reason why it's not worth arguing with order members is because from their perspective, they try to tune out everything else. You know, they live in a world of order members that is constantly telling them having multiple wives is great. It's okay if your husband's busy with other wives. It's okay if you have tons of kids. Like, it's okay if you have a very like poor lifestyle. Like, you just as long as you're gonna go to heaven, then it's worth it. It's worth all the neglect. It's worth whatever you go through. You know. So it's like the order members are confidently able to say that the order is great. All the women in the order are happy because from their perspective, they think that's how it is because that's all they let themselves think about. That's all they want to believe, you know? So to them, sure, it's great, it's fine, it's dandy, but they won't consider or look into the fact that there's a lot of people that aren't satisfied or don't like how the order is running. And it's even a lot of order members too. There's so many people currently in the order. There's like the order is messing up. Like they need to do so many things better, and they're taking advantage of a lot of the people that just give their money to them and don't get the proper help that they need, and they just let it happen. And they let the people that want the nicer houses and nicer things just have them, and they don't ever like try to redistribute it more properly or more evenly and things like that, or take care of the people that need more help and stuff like that. But anyways, that's besides the fact. A lot of order members will say no, it's great, whatever. But anyways, it's not worth trying to argue about all that. Let's see. Okay, let's get back to yours though, because the comments are getting annoying. But
they're getting exciting.
Well, they're interesting. We'll definitely go back and look at some of them. But there were some other questions that I wanted to ask you. Let's see. For like the education of the members.
going to university.
Yeah, so for the school system in the order, it's interesting because they have their own school, right? Just like they'll try to keep them away from outsiders as much as possible. So they have their own school, their own like elementary, junior high, and now even their own high school. And there's a lawsuit against them because for the elementary, then they don't have any outsiders and they don't get any public funds. They just pay for it themselves. But the high school, they get the government money to help pay for a lot of stuff because they claim they're a charter school. So like, you know, like partial public or whatever, like let people in it. But there's only order members in it. So they're getting sued right now because they're using public funds for something that's not really public, stuff like that.
So they won't let outsiders into their charter school?
For the most part. There's been like one or two, but you know, one or two out of the hundreds of kids in it, it's very biased on how it's working, you know, stuff like that. So, and there's never been a black kid in it too. So that's pretty clear. Like
they don't allow it.
Yeah, they definitely are very racist. So
Really?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Is it like a? Is it like religion based? Like, did they say,
well,
from our religious beliefs, we are racist? Like, that's where our racist beliefs come from?
No, because the doctrine is that everyone is a child of God, but they do say the black people were just fence sitters. Like, they were the people that went with Satan down to hell, then the people that chose Christ's law and came down to earth, and then the fence sitters that didn't know where to go, they got to come to earth, but they were black. That's kind of what they teach as doctrine. And so they're like, yeah, everyone theoretically can be somewhat a part of the order, but black people can't have the priesthood. Black people, there's no black members because obviously they're not standing true to them. They teach and say, yeah, black people could be members, whatever, yada yada, but that never happens, you know. So it's like,
and they believe God loves all His children.
Yeah, they claim that that's what they teach and stuff, but it's debatable if they're actually doing that.
Interesting.
But and then equality, you know, like with the way it is, there's everyone's putting their money in one thing, but it's like so obvious sometimes when guys have a favorite wife or like when certain people are treated way better. And the leader himself, he's a Kingston, like his last name is Kingston. So a lot of his kids, like they're Kingstons, they're Paul's kids. And so a lot of them get special treatment and they are able to, you know, have some of the best jobs within the organization.
What would be like an example of the best job?
Like I guess like maybe the principal of the school or that's not accurate now, I guess, because the principal is someone different. But like, you know, the manager of one of the companies, or the person in charge of like the whole grocery store or something like that, you know, like the people that have more control, or like are you know, just better positions instead of a job and stuff like that. Yeah, and they have the most pure blood. For example, it's extremely, extremely hard for someone like me that's not a Kingston to marry one of Paul's girls. Like that would be way, way hard. And so that, yeah.
Wait,
and
so they only let his kids marry his kids?
Well, not necessarily his kids, but you know, like maybe his full brother's kids that are still
cousins.
Kingstons. Yeah, cousins and stuff. Things like that. And it does still happen. Sometimes they do marry other people, but it's just way more rare. And it's like, for example, it's not hard for the guys, I guess you would say, you know, like Paul's guys, they can marry like just about anyone, you know, like there's no, like they get way more free reign, I guess, or whatever you'd call it.
So is it almost like a caste system, where it's like
it's a hierarchy for sure.
Hierarchy for sure. So like we're like the wow, that's so fascinating.
But it's like it's not just Paul's family that's like.
Can you move
best.
up?
It's
in this, like if you're like
question.
you're the bottom, like you're in the order, and people acknowledge that, but you're like in terms of purity of, is it? I don't know, purity of what? What would they say? Purity of blood or purity of?
Oh yeah, pure blood. I think that's a huge one. But
do they use that phrase?
Well, there's like more righteous blood for sure.
And they say that like I have more righteous blood.
Well, I've never heard them use that in that way, because they talk about it as in like, you know, like maybe this person's more compatible, like, or like an option to marry for this person, or like, and they'll test their blood and make sure everything works through. But like you would never like go to church and be like, I have more righteous blood than you, or whatever. You know, like I don't feel like that's a term that they use. But that's a description they use to like help with, you know, the either arranged marriages or just figuring out like what's the best for what or anything like that.
Interesting.
But there's also Paul has 5 brothers, and they're literally like, some of them are the ones that sit on the stage and everything and like lead the meetings and like are, what would you call it? Just like the ones more in control. They're the ones at the top basically.
So it's very much like a family run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And everyone has this thing called the law of one above another, and everyone is assigned to someone above them, all the way up until it gets to Paul. And then like,
the law of one above another.
Yeah, exactly. And so like for me, I would have to report to my dad, and my dad would report to this other numbered man that was like his brother or something, and then he would report to, I think it was like one of the 5 brothers, and then one of those 5 brothers would report to Paul. And so it was like, you know, a whole system of people that would go through. And so, like, if you wanted
and what would you report about?
Well, either if you had questions, or like, for example, I want to buy a house, you know, like that's a huge chunk of money. You couldn't just go and be like, oh, it's for a house, like approve it. No, you'd have to talk to the one above you, and they talk to the one above them, and like go through this whole approval process.
So this Paul guy, would he have to be the one to sign off on you getting a house?
If it was big enough. I don't think a house is a big enough thing. Like,
what would be a big enough thing?
Like maybe a whole company or something. For depending on how serious it is, sometimes the one above you can sign off on it, or the one above them, or the, you know, somewhere along the line. Wow. Because if Paul had to sign off on everything, it would take forever.
Oh yeah, that'd like, be all he did.
But so he delegates who can approve what, kind of, you know, on certain things. So the delegation of power is.
So is it like more of a corporate kind of strategy?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of people will see the order and think it's a business. They so many people have compared it to the mafia. It's not even funny.
Really?
Because they set their own system, and they don't care much about laws. Like literally, the quote they say all the time is that if we followed the law, then most of us wouldn't be here. You know, they're all here illegally, so they just kind of do their own thing. It's really funny, but let's see what they're saying now.
Can we hear their perspective? Does anyone speak out in favor of the order? It is not equal. Interesting. So, it sounds like they're hardworking people. Like
they're all about working. In fact, I got my first job when I was 14, and that's a very common age to start working in the order.
And I think that is something, like, just from my little interactions that I did have, they seem like hardworking people.
Oh yeah.
People
For sure.
from polygamous communities
Mm-hmm.
seem like very hardworking individuals, which is respectable. I mean, I respect people who work hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good quality to have.
Oh yeah.
But, is that something they teach? Like,
yeah.
do they encourage you to start working that young, or is it your choice?
No. It's I don't think I was necessarily forced to work. It was kind of like work or you're a waste of space. Like they would make you feel really bad if you didn't work. But technically, for me, I was never forced to work. But like I felt really dumb if I didn't work, basically. So yeah, I started working when I was 14.
What about like personal pursuits like music or sports or art? Like if you like to paint, what kind of opportunities do you have to paint and like pursue things like that? Or if you're a writer, if you like to write, what kind of opportunities do you have there?
Basically, if you can make money with it, then sure. But if it takes you too long to like prove you can make money from it, then I don't think you'll have much of a chance.
Really? So like it's a lot of money.
It's definitely money motivated.
Really?
But like I'm sure.
But like if you love sports, you don't start making money with that until you're like.
Exactly. That's why I don't think there's a single order person that's like a professional athlete or does a sport professionally. That's extremely rare because of that. Because it's hard to make money off of
video games. Could you play video games in the order?
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, there's some people that love video games, and want to go into it.
If you're good at video games, you can make money on it.
There's some order members that do like video game design and stuff like that. Or like they're going into that. I don't know if they do it professionally or what, but
I feel like you have to. Do they have a university? Can you go to can you leave the order? Because you said they have all the way up to high school. Can you go to college?
Yeah, so once they go to college though, then you have to go to an outside school. They don't have their own college.
And what happens at that point? Do they have somebody?
It's basically if they trust you enough, then yes, they'll have you go to college. Okay. If you are basically a rebel and like not doing that good of stuff, I suppose, then they would tell you not to. Or like it's weird because some families they don't care. They're like go to college. Like they have all their kids go to college, whether they're like questioning or wanting to leave the order or what, because you go to college, then they'll be able to make more money. And so there is a lot of order members that go to college for sure, and so that's a big one.
I think more education is a good thing.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And I think for some parts of it, they do have certain things that the order needs, and they'll be like, oh, we should get some of our order members to go to school for this, or like to be a lawyer or something. There's a lot of order members that go to law school, and that they want them to be lawyers and stuff like that, because I think the order gets in a lot of legal trouble, and so that helps them. But I guess I was gonna try to share a little bit about kind of the differences between the FLDS and the order, and then just an order member lifestyle versus like a regular person's lifestyle, I guess. And I think one of the biggest things between the FLDS and the order is the living arrangements, because I mentioned a little bit how the FLDS will have like all of their wives in one house, whereas in the order they have them all into separate houses. But I think if you were to compare an order member versus like just a regular family on the outside, then there's a lot of like social things that are a little bit different, and then the fact that like order members are really bad about like inviting people to church necessarily, like they claim that anyone can come to church, right? And they want people to come and join the church, but it's extremely rare. And like when I was growing up and like wondering what to tell the outsider people I would associate with about my religion and stuff, my mom literally would be like, say that you're just some sort of a Christian, or say that you're like Jack Mormon or something like that. One time she even said, just say you're Mormon and it's fine. They would say like, we're like the right Mormons, because we come from Joseph Smith. Like we kind of are Mormon, but we're like the correct.
Do you guys use the Book of Mormon?
Yeah. They use the Book of Mormon for sure. And so,
which version? Because there's like different versions, right?
Well, just whatever one's printed by the LDS Church.
Oh, really?
And we literally, the order buys the scriptures from a lot of the LDS Church like publishing places and whatever. So yeah, and they use that. And there were some times when I was growing up, I'd be like, yeah, I'm Mormon to like my friends, and they'd be like, oh, what ward do you go to? And I'd be like, I have no idea. And so they would be Mormon a lot of times, so they'd ask me questions, and I didn't know how to answer them, and so they'd always think I was weird or something. But
interesting.
But yeah, so we were definitely encouraged to lie at a young age. and I mean, like, I guess, I don't know, because, like, I don't know why, to me, I always wondered, why can't I just tell them, like, I'm from a polygamous group, like, people know that those exist, I mean, it's happening, a lot of people know about it, it's not, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but, like, they just, you know, they just don't want to get in trouble.
I feel kind of bad for that, like, I know I disagree with a lot of, like, of their beliefs, but that'd be hard as a kid to, like, have to hide what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
especially when I didn't fully understand it either.
Yeah, for anything. Like, so, I think that'd be just kind of from, like, just a principle standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you believe something and really believe it and then have to hide it from everyone you associate with, that'd be hard. Yeah. That'd be really hard.
Definitely. It's definitely.
Because like.
And explaining where my dad was, too. Be like, I literally would tell people, my dad sleeps at his work sometimes.
Really?
So, yeah. Cause
what would your dad do?
Well, he'd be at the other wives' houses and stuff. You know, he's only there every once in a while. You know, he's not there every day. So.
Oh, because your dad had 3 wives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
he'd be bouncing around. Mm-hmm. So how often would it be, like 2 days a week, or how often would you see your dad?
Most of the time, every 3 days, I would say, unless unless something else.
What is your relationship with him now?
Complicated, that's for sure.
Are you still in contact?
Yes, contact. Yeah, but like we rarely see each other and stuff. But it's weird because sometimes I feel like our relationship's fine, and like he came to my birthday party this last year.
No way.
And so that was like a surprise to me, but it was cool. He came. I was like, okay, cool. And then though recently, I haven't talked to him. I wonder like if I go up to him and was like, hey, how's it going? How he would react, because I hear he's very upset about my channel. He's like super mad that I'm just sharing everything about the order. And in my defense, I'm like, Dad, I'm just helping the order be more transparent. And like, I mean, hopefully this will help the order in some way, somehow, to just do better and to be better, you know? Because even order members themselves, they tell me all the time that, sure, they believe in the order, they think it's great, but they still think the order needs to do better. There's a lot of neglect that goes on. There's a lot of like shady things with the arranged marriages, which I know you guys don't call them arranged marriages, but with the way that a lot of people get married in the order, that it's not necessarily like forced and stuff like that, but a lot of people would prefer it to be done in a different way, and for people to maybe not have so many wives that they can't take care of all the kids, or having so many kids, you know, that they can't take care of them all and stuff like that. And so they definitely need help. And the distribution of wealth is a huge one. If the order did better at properly distributing the wealth, I think it would help a lot of people. Because I feel super bad for those families that basically live in poverty in the order, that don't get very well taken care of, and they just have to suck it up and they just live their life that way. So for me, that's my motivation for this, just to bring transparency to everything in hopes that it might help. And to educate people, let people know of what's going on. That's the biggest thing for me. But yeah. Okay, I think we're pretty close to an hour, so let's see what our time is at. Usually my lives go for roughly an hour. We're at an hour and 7 minutes, so I'm going to go through the comments one more time, ask any more questions you guys want to ask, let's address them, and then we'll probably call it a night. But we got 64 people on here right now. Heck yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. That's quite a bit. I like that. Heck yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, man. Are they still arguing with Philip? You guys, don't waste your time. Sorry. Anyways, Philip.
And that was like a thought I had. It's like I definitely don't agree with everything, or I don't know how much I actually agree with anything that the order does.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But like, there's still people, and like just reading some of these comments, it's like, just like arguing with them isn't gonna solve anything. If you think there's a problem to be solved here, like getting mad at them and arguing with them isn't gonna solve it. I feel like you have to love them and show that there's like that there's goodness outside of what they're doing. Exactly. And like help them to see the good outside of it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And because granted, like you're saying, there are some good principles in what they do. I'm not saying that what their organization is a good thing, but that obviously there's principles that they believe and they hold dear. And attacking that, like, it just makes people defensive.
That's why I think it's super important to like I always try to state that like I don't support the order. I don't encourage what they're doing. I try to acknowledge that sure they try to teach good morals like the law of chastity, trying to like be righteous, be hardworking, make sure you like I don't know, do your part and stuff. So they have right ideas, but the fact that the core belief is polygamy, and a lot of it's focused on marriage and having kids and having multiple wives. That's the part that I'm like, you guys should really rethink about that kind of stuff. And sure, if that's what you're going to do, just try to find a way to do it where it's not so sketchy and where you can be more transparent about it and like not have to hide things or keep secrets and stuff like that. And not have people have to, in a way, be coerced to do it. You know, I wish if people could make their own decisions and not get married until they're 18, like full-grown adults, or even older would be great. But you know, at least consenting adults would be much better. I think it's really sad that so many people get married at 16, 17. And, you know, anyone that's like older than 20 or something knows that when they were 16 or 17, they were not in the proper mindset to make an eternal, lifelong decision. And so, yeah. Anyways, that is tough. And then Michelle commented, "We're still looking for Kyle Grant to this day."
Who's Kyle Grant?
We don't know. So on a lot of birth certificates, they just put random names. And one of my siblings, then they put Kyle Grant on it. And the government is trying to find Kyle Grant to charge him for child support, right? Because like whoever is the dad to this kid like needs to pay child support and stuff. So
wow,
it's just funny. But it's just a made up name. So but they found a Kyle Grant at one point, and they were like trying to like make him pay child support and stuff. It was funny.
It's so different. I didn't realize that there's such a. Like,
oh man, yeah, they're getting heated.
Really?
They're like fighting with this Philip guy, but it's okay. I'm not gonna pay attention to that. But one thing that my dad did say is, well, I don't know if I should talk about this, but anyways, okay. So forget I said that. A lot of order members, just in general, are like, stop blocking our comments from your videos, because if you can post and say whatever you want about the order, we should be able to. And I'm fine with that. And that's why I'm asking order members to have a representative come on here. Have someone that you think is saying it correctly and accurately. Have him. I would love to be able to have him on my channel and tell me, like, not in a rude way, but if he can respectfully let me know what are the things that I said that were inaccurate, what things that like the order is doing that is good, and like, you know, if they want to highlight the good things, as long as they are going to be honest and transparent and share the right information, I'm happy to have them on my channel. I'm asking for someone.
You guys should like maybe make a list, like post some of your questions that you want the order to answer, and then you compile them into a list and say, hey, here are the questions we want answered. Then maybe you send it to them, and they can have somebody somebody come over, and those are the only things you talk about are those questions. And
exactly. Yeah, I think that would be so fascinating, because I'm happily willing to admit that I've been out for 6 years. I don't know if the order has changed much, or if it's exactly the same, or like I can't remember all of the exact details. That's why so many times I say I remember it being this way. I remember these specific things, and I know like certain things. But I know I'm not a perfect representative for the order. All I'm trying to do is just be a voice for people that want to leave, people that have left, and be able to have a channel for people to share their information on. That's all it is. And so, yeah, that's my
it's a very emotional thing, because these are people's beliefs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things in like the world today. Like people feel their values that they hold very dear are being attacked, and like things in courts and whatnot going on right now. And it can be pretty emotional. And so like I don't agree with some of the things people say on here, and I don't understand a lot of the beliefs, but I think I can understand their reactions when they feel attacked. And so that I think having an open discourse is important, because they are people too, and while I disagree with them, like they should feel like they can voice their opinions, and that we can be able to have an open discussion. Yeah, and I personally believe that a lot of order members react so much to what I'm saying because they do have things to hide. When you have secrets and when you don't want things to get out, then I feel like you're a lot more defensive, or like, you know, you get offended a lot faster. Whereas I feel like I'm just stating information. I feel like I'm just sharing stuff. I'm not trying to like bash on anyone. I'm not like dissing on like someone's name or anything like that. All I'm sharing is things that I've seen that have happened, and things about the order.
And I feel like if it wasn't so, I don't know, if you didn't have things to hide, then you wouldn't care that much. It would just be like, whatever, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, treat people good.
Yeah. And the fact that there hasn't been a representative yet to be able to share stuff shows that there's something like that's being hidden, you know, like something that you guys are hiding. And so I don't like that.
And I think that's why a lot of people, like, from our perspective on the outside, like, the way we see it is like people are being mistreated, and that is a lot of what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then people aren't being treated equally and fairly.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we get really emotional, because we don't like that. We want people to be treated fairly and people to be loved and like people to be able to express themselves and have that freedom. Whereas people in that group, it's like, these are our hardcore beliefs that we really hold dear, and they feel attacked. So there's kind of like this conflict between two very prized beliefs.
Oh yeah.
So.
And I think the reason why a lot of outsiders are very passionate about this, and the reason why I'm passionate about it, is because a lot of us can relate and have similar experiences where we, growing up, we maybe didn't know something or we didn't fully understand certain things. And then once we have the choice to be able to, whatever it is, go to college, choose our own career, once we see how awesome it is just to have the freedom of choosing whatever we want, we value that and we see how important it is. And it's like to look and see people that aren't getting that I feel like, to me, that's what really touches me and makes me want to basically, what's the word? Like, take off this mask on a lot of people and let them see, like, there's so much to the world. So it's so great to have so many choices and to be able to do whatever you want, that it's like, man, if someone would have given that to me when I was in the order, I feel like that would have helped a ton. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Just let people know that they have a choice, they have a voice, and they can use it. So.
Well, they're like flipping out.
Yeah, it's intense. Dang. Oh, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, dear.
Nice. Oh, Philip says that he would like an interview. As long as you promise me that you'll stay calm and keep it a respectful discussion. Yeah. Message me on Instagram and we'll schedule it. That would be great.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. This week I have interviews already scheduled with insiders. And then I think probably by Sunday, if you wanted to be on my next Sunday live, let me know. But I'm not going to agree to it right now. But if you message me and we're able to meet up and you're real serious about it and you'll stay respectful about it, then sure, I would definitely do it. I missed a lot, but it looks like same old, same old. If people would understand, this is to help those who want to leave because they don't have a voice or know how to leave. Exactly. That's what my general channel is about. This video, I was hoping it to be just a little bit more going into detail, sharing it with someone that didn't really know a whole lot about different cults and stuff.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Oh yeah, for
just
sure.
Thinking about the dating and whatnot. Did you ever kiss a girl before you left the order?
No, I was 21 when I had my first kiss. Yeah.
Right on.
That's wild.
Wow.
How old
what was
were you?
It like? Oh, how old was I?
Yeah.
I was kind of a weird kid, so.
You were a weird kid.
I was kind of a weird kid.
If you were a weird kid, I was insane.
So, funny story. So when I was in high school, I had a group of super close friends, and all the dudes and girls were kissing each other,
Whoa.
And so I was not about it. It's I don't want to kiss. This friend of mine that has kissed all of my other guys that are friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt weird about it. So I didn't kiss anybody in high school. So yeah, I was a little older, I guess.
How old were you though?
I was 20.
20? Okay,
yeah, I was 20.
So I got you beat by 1 year.
Yeah, because I did a mission as well, a 2-year mission.
Okay. So right when you got back, you had your
Right
first kiss.
yeah.
That was the same with me.
Yeah.
It was 2 months after I got back from my mission. With my first kiss. So that's wild.
That's different.
Yeah. That's really funny. Dang. So I would imagine yours was pretty similar to mine then. I remember thinking it was super special, but I will never forget, even though it was super special, and I'll never forget because it was a Friday night, and the song was playing by Ed Sheeran. That said,
No way.
My first kiss on a Friday night.
No way.
Yeah, during my first kiss, that was playing, and so I'll never forget that. It was a very special moment, but I do remember after, I was like, that was really cool, I loved it, but I was like, why the frick did I wait so long? Oh man, I feel like I waited so long, and it was just crazy. But I don't know, it was a cool experience for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was kind of a random story, just thrown in there.
Yeah, no, it's
all the
fine.
other stuff.
I think a lot of those little things, especially to someone, I feel like a lot of people I meet on the outside have their first kiss when they're like 16 or sometimes younger,
Oh, yeah.
It's like super popular. To me,
Yeah.
felt like I was pretty old as a 21-year-old. But
oh, yeah, I definitely, like, compared to my friends, I was,
Mm-hmm. Oh, someone just mentioned, so in the order they have order standards, and they have like the letters for each thing,
mm-hmm.
and someone just posted what K is, because the order standard for K in the order is K is for kiss, which I will save for my wedding day. So you'll have your first kiss for your husband or something like that.
Bro, no way.
For you married.
So you don't kiss your wife until you're
in fact, you're not even allowed to hold hands until you're engaged to be married. That's when you get to go ahead to hold hands. Can you imagine that? Even when you dance with girls, they say not to do it like this because that's holding hands. When you dance with them, you just take their hand like that. So it's like, it's very specific.
That's different. That's different.
Yep. And your first kiss is when you marry them. Well, it's funny because the girls' first kiss is always on their wedding day, but for the guy, well, I guess for the guy it is on his wedding day, but
after that,
multiple times, so it's kind of funny.
He kisses that girl for the first time when he marries her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's different.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm trying to.
This is fun.
Trying to understand this. This is very different.
Oh, Caroline says she's 23 and still has not had a kiss yet. Dang, you got both of us beat.
Yeah, you beat us both.
God. Swapping spits is not my idea of fun. Yeah, if you really, it's funny because when you think about it, it's gross. But a lot of things about intimacy is disgusting. If you really think about it.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that.
But it's just, I don't know why we're made in a way that, I don't know, in the moment it just seems like the thing to do, I guess. But you're right, I agree. It seems disgusting.
Not all kisses are equal, though.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Dude, we're up to 74 people on right now.
Oh, yo, what up,
This
everybody?
is a lot. Heck yeah. Dang. Well, we're just about to come to a close, so I feel bad, right, when a ton of people are on. Dang. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. I want to go over, like, all these comments, but there's so many.
Can you guys go camping?
Oh, yeah. Camping's huge because it's free. They love cheap activities because you save money.
What about like world travel? Like, could you go to Paris? Could you go to Japan?
That's so rare. In fact, almost the most common like extravagant trip is going to Hawaii. Tons of people for their honeymoon is Hawaii.
So they do honeymoons. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the most common. And see, that's where it's unequal too because the family that has more money or that get more permission or have more money, they go on way more trips than families that don't. Just like, I could talk about this actually. My half brother Dylan, he just recently left, and I felt bad because I was talking about how my family didn't go on many trips, but we still went to Disneyland, and it was like a big deal, It was like, wow, we finally went to Disneyland, and I remember asking him, and he's never gone on a Disneyland trip. He's like been on like one trip with his but he said he's never been on a trip with his whole family, like his dad and his whole family.
Like
right?
all the moms.
Yeah. Well, just his mom.
Oh,
just his
really?
mom and his family. He's never been on a family trip that felt like just a normal family trip. He's gone camping and like very basic things, but like he's never gotten even the few things that me and my family got. And I remember thinking like, wow,
that is too bad.
Like, yeah, it's really rough.
So like in terms of like a family, you can't really save up for a trip. So it's like, as a family, we really want to go to California and go to Disney and see the beach.
Well, you can totally do that. Like if you save up enough money, but
you still have to get permission, right?
If it's expensive, you have to get permission to spend the money. But like if you save up and like you have a goal for it, but the problem with that is when there's 4 or 5 families, right? And one family's like, oh, I really want to take my kids. So one wife really wants to take her kids to Disneyland. So she's like telling the husband, like, can we start saving for this, yada, yada, whatever. But then if another family's like, wait, but I want to take my kids to Disneyland. And then there's 5 families. Then it's like, it's not just one expense. It's like a huge thing. And it's just way harder. And so there's a comment on here that's like, what, any order member can go on trips whenever they want. That's true. but it comes down to the finances. You need the money,
Wow.
and you have to organize that between all the different families, and that's where it's really hard. Like the distribution of wealth is where it's really tough, you know?
So, like,
You
if
have to
one
figure
wife
out.
were preferred over the other, that family would get more
Mhm.
traveling than the other family.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is kind of crazy, and that's where favoritism comes in a ton. Like, I don't know if we talked about it during the live or not, but you were saying how, like, when you were told about it, they talk about how, yeah, you'll have like 3 or 4 wives, but you have to make sure you love each of them equally. Whereas that's nearly impossible, and like, it's very clear with so many families who the favorite wife is, who gets the better treatments and more stuff and all the things. And it's like the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and that is so true in this case. And so, yeah, that happens a lot.
That's sad.
It's crazy. And
Everyone deserves to be loved.
Exactly.
Everyone deserves to be
And
loved.
here's where I will defend the order to a small extent, because I said this in my last one. My dad, where I get confused, I don't necessarily know if I should be blaming my dad and get really mad at some of the dads in the order, but I don't know who like should get the blame or what. But like my dad, his dad treated him the same way. You know, his dad had more wives and spent way less time with him. So I'm always like, I have to give my dad a teeny bit of credit, because this is all that he knows. Like, he is a product of his father. And so when he, favors a wife, or like, I don't know, isn't spending much quality time with his kids.
That's how he's taught.
Yeah. Like, to him, he's looking at me and being like, Eskel, I spent so much more time with you than my dad ever spent with me. Like, I'm a good dad, you know?
Yeah.
So from his perspective, yeah, he feels like he's a really good guy. And so it's like, it's really hard for me to be like, oh, you're such a crappy dad, all this stuff, when technically he did try, but it's like the way the order is set up, and like how he just has so many wives and so many kids, it's like he's kind of set up for failure. And so I blame like more of like the principles and the organization and the leaders mostly, I guess I would say.
Like, how would you bring a resolution to that? Like, how would you help someone, like, because first of all, they have to want to see it, right? They have to be open to it. But let's say they are open to it. How would you help someone to see a difference? Like, how would you promote? Is their only option to leave? Is that really if somebody wants to see another way of living, it's the only way to leave? Or could somebody stay in the order and not practice polygamy?
Technically, yeah, it's way easier for a guy to do that though, because for a girl, they're a lot more rare, they're a lot more precious, you know, like they all of them are trying to marry the different girls, so it's like super, super hard for a girl to try to just live her life in the order and do her own thing. Whereas I've seen guys do it. Guys can just, especially if you're considered like not a good guy, it can be hard for you to get married, you know, they don't want you marrying their daughters and stuff like that. So there's guys that just live their own life and like just kind of, to me, it's kind of pointless for them to be in the order, but they still, you know, they give their money to the order that helps supporting it and like giving them finance help and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely possible. What's really tough though is when you get married young, have all these kids, and then at that point, if you're like, wait, maybe I don't want this, that's where it's nearly impossible. Like, how are you supposed to fix it at that point? You have a family, you're very stuck. But I don't know. That's where it is hard. As an individual, it would be very hard in that situation. But as the order as a whole, I think there's a lot of things that they could do to help families more, to be able to, you know, I guess like encourage there to be like, what is it? Like maybe more opportunities, more ways for, I don't know, the families to be able to either have the proper things that they need, I suppose, you know, like whether it is like essentials, like basic things that they need.
Yeah, do some people go without, like, are some people going hungry in the order?
I don't think with food, because the order is really good at getting welfare, you know, food stamps, all sorts of stuff. They get tons of government help because they have so many kids. Yeah, they get a lot of help that way.
Okay.
So like with a lot of the basics, then they're fine. What I feel like they are neglected or like taken advantage of is a lot of the times then the kids pay rent, and so a lot of the money, you know, these young kids are paying rent that just goes towards other like men that just use it for whatever, I don't know. But and then a lot of families, they don't get much of a say in what they do, and so I feel like there's a lot of families that are just working and have all their kids working, like just doing whatever the order tells them to, but then the family themselves don't get much of a benefit, you know. They're just basically worker bees, just working all the time, and then all their money goes towards the order, which is essentially like, I mean, I guess that's what the order wants. They just want to have, everyone creating a surplus, always creating more things and getting bigger and all that stuff. So I don't know. But then it's really sad because some of those families that are working and like providing and giving to the order, they'll be in tiny little homes, or they just like, I don't know, they won't receive the proper help, or like they won't even receive a proper voice. So like they won't even, if they won't, I guess, fight or try really hard to either get a nicer home or maybe like, I don't know, whatever it is they might stand in need of, then they just won't get it. They can be neglected and just forgotten about very easily. But, yeah, I don't know.
It makes me feel sad.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, here's another one, a big thing, because this is something that I can't really be ignored in the order. It's a running joke that women are used as like a transaction to get different things. And there's a certain family in the order that every single one of his daughters has married Paul's kids. And it's almost as if he has promised him, all of his daughters, to get like certain businesses in the order or certain finances or different things like that, And so this family is like treated very highly in the order, even though they're not Kingston. That's another funny thing. They're not technically, well, I think if you go far enough back, they kind of are somewhat Kingston, because almost everyone in the order is Kingston. But anyways, they have a lot of businesses, they have a lot of money and things like that. They're treated really well, and every single one of his daughters marries one of Paul's kids.
Wow.
And so to me, it's like, sure, it's possible that's coincidence, but I hate the fact that the order just jokes about it, and I personally don't think it is coincidence. I think there's something shady behind that. But like, that's not the only thing, There's so many people that get married really young in the order. There's a lot of people that have left the order and so that they felt like they were coerced or forced into marrying the person that they were told to marry. And so there's definitely a lot of issues. And so if those things could get addressed, or I don't know, if we can help in any way, then it's worth it. And that'd be good. But let's see.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is just helping whoever needs it and wants it.
Mm-hmm. True. Okay, there's way too many comments.
Really?
Thank you guys for commenting. I don't think we have time to go through all of them right now, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. Is there anything else? Any other questions that you had before we kind of? It's almost been an hour and 30 minutes.
No, I don't have any questions. That was a lot.
Hopefully we could do a part 2.
Maybe. Maybe I should, because I didn't really do like any research into this. I had like a brief conversation.
I told him not to. Yeah, I didn't want to give him too much information.
So if I said anything that was like completely offensive, I'm sorry to whoever it was. I really I want to just help people if I can help.
Yeah, don't stress. I mean, it's all new to you, so it's like this is like the real true reaction. So. Yeah. And that's what it is. I feel like to so many people, this is a shock. This is something that a lot of people don't know about. And so getting the information out there, it's going to surprise some people. But it's better to be transparent and to just have the information out there than to try to hide anything. So, yeah. That's probably it. Sweet. Well, we'll probably call it a night. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we can do maybe like a part 2 on this or something. But... yeah, I guess for a little update in the future, we're going to be having some of the insiders try to share a little bit of why they do like the order and some of the things of why they stay in the order. And I do have a list of questions that you guys have commented and want to ask them, but feel free to add more inside of this video. There's a lot of comments in this video, which is awesome. I love that. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts and ideas, and I will be going through as many of them as I can, and I'll continue to grow the list of questions to ask during the interviews. And yeah, let you guys know from there. The first interview is going to be on my Patreon, so if you're interested in that, go check that out and join there. But eventually I will be having it come out onto YouTube as well. I just need to work on, of course, I'm getting better at editing it. They are very particular about their privacy and stuff like that, so it's going to take a little bit longer than I was hoping. But that will be coming soon, so stay tuned for that. What else? There's a video coming out soon where I was able to meet up with my sister Amanda, and we tried we ate bugs, and it was like the bugs and chocolates and stuff like that. And Dallen was actually able to be a little bit on that one too. So if you want to see more of him, go check that one out. And yeah, I will see you guys next Sunday. Sunday's probably going to be the next one. So hope to see you all there, and I hope you all have a great week. So thanks, guys.
Deuce.